Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I am your host, James Egan. What is a planet? Sounds like an easy question. Sounds like a question a 6-year-old child could answer. But the answer is... we don't know. There is no true definition of the word planet. It doesn't have to be round. Most planets aren't round, including Earth. The planet that is the closest to being round is Venus, but it's still not perfectly spherical. In fact, there are some moons and asteroids that are rounder than Earth. Which brings me to my next point. You must think, it needs to have a moon. But Mercury and Venus don't have moons. And, just to make it more confusing, there are asteroids that have moons. Pluto was a planet, now it isn't a planet, but it has a moon. How does that work? Does a planet have to be a certain size? No. Jupiter's moon, Ganymede, is bigger than Mercury. So why is Ganymede a moon and not a planet? Sadly, the word planet can't be defined. And that is the first fact about planets. Let's dive in. I have already done a video about every planet in the solar system and Pluto, but I need to talk about planets in general because there's still a lot of fascinating things a lot of people don't know about planets. Everybody knows that the Earth is the third closest planet to the Sun. If a planet has a closer orbit to the Sun than Earth, like Mercury and Venus, it is called an inferior planet. If a planet has a broader orbit to the Sun than Earth, it is known as a superior planet. Some planets have a chain of craters on its surface, mainly Mars. This is known as a catena. A broken terrain on a planet's surface is called a chaos. A canyon on a planet's surface is known as a chasma. Many people believe that planets have a circular orbit around their star. This is not true. All planets orbit their neighboring star in an ellipse, which is an oval shape. This means that it varies how far a planet can be from its star. This is known as an elliptical orbit. When a planet is at its closest to the Sun, it is known as perihelion. When a planet is at its furthest point from the Sun, it is known as aphelion. The word planet is Greek for wanderer. If you're watching this and you're already an expert with astronomy, you'll be thinking, oh yeah, tell me something I don't know. Here's something that was found out only very recently. Most people think there's only two types of planets. Solid planets like Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Earth, and gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn. But scientists discovered only in 2018 that there's another type of planet called a Chthonian Planetoid. This is when a gas giant like Jupiter gets too close to its neighboring sun, causing the gas to evaporate until only a core remains. Planets and moons make sounds. How is that possible there's no sound in space? Well, planets and moons can create sounds from interactions of charged electromagnetic particles from the solar wind, ionosphere, and planetary magnetosphere. If you don't understand that, there's an alternative explanation.
You see magic. Got it.
If you're not an astronomer, your understanding of planets is probably based on how the planets work in our own solar system. But we've learned so much by studying planets throughout the Milky Way. A planet that orbits a star other than the Sun is known as a exoplanet. In 1995, the first exoplanet was discovered. Michael Mayer and Didier Queloz learned of a planet called 51 Peg b. It orbits its star, Peg. A year on this planet is 4.23 Earth days. It's only 5 million miles away from its star. That's about 7 times closer than Mercury is to the Sun. It's also only half the mass of Jupiter. This is really important because discovering 51 Peg b changed the fundamental understanding of planets. Before its discovery, astronomers believed it was impossible for a planet to be that big when it is near a star. It turns out they were right. The planet formed much further away and eventually migrated closer to its star. Big planets that migrate towards their star, like the way 51 Peg b has, are known as hot Jupiters. Most of the first few exoplanets discovered were hot Jupiters. Oddly, these planets were not considered irrefutable proof that exoplanets existed. One day, that all changed. In 1999, a planet known as HD 209468b I'm pretty sure that's my internet password, was discovered. While observing the planet star, its light dramatically dropped and then suddenly re-emerged. The only explanation why this would happen is if a planet traveled past it, blocking its light. This is known as a transit. Scientists calculated how big the planet was and how fast it was traveling. It was this planet that became the first official exoplanet in the cosmos. By locating other transits, hundreds of exoplanets were found. Transits are now considered the easiest technique with which to locate new planets. And just to give you an idea of how much progress that made, between January to July 2015, 521 exoplanets were found. That means that 2 or 3 planets were found a day. On February 2015, the Extrasolar Planet Encyclopedia stated they had already found 1,890 exoplanets. And just when you thought it couldn't get cooler, in 2004, the first photograph of an exoplanet was unveiled. Its name was... I'm just going to call it Bob. Bob has 5 times more mass than Jupiter. It was discovered not only because of its gigantic size, but because its galactic system is very young, so it's bright enough to appear in a telescope. The oldest exoplanet known is 12.7 billion years old. It's called Methuselah and was discovered in 1993. It formed about 1 billion years after the universe began. PSR J1719-1438b is a planet that is made of diamonds. It is the densest planet astronomers have ever found, and you called it that. Just call it the Diamond Planet. Anything is better than that. The nearest exoplanet is called Epsilon Eridani b. It is only 10 light years away. The exoplanet with the longest year is Fomalhaut. A year on the planet is 876 years long. Sweeps 04 is the furthest planet ever discovered. It is 22,000 light years away. Tress 2b is an exoplanet that is nicknamed the Dark Planet because it reflects absolutely no light and is entirely black. MOA is the largest exoplanet astronomers have found. It is 1.7 times larger than Jupiter. Although MOA is the biggest known planet, another planet called CD has the most mass. It has 31 times more mass than Jupiter. Gliese 436b is a unique exoplanet because it's covered in burning ice. It's funny if something like that was in Star Wars, astronomers would be going, oh, that's completely unrealistic. And that's actually a real thing. A planet called Kepler 452b, there's a lot of 2b's, or not 2b's, has been discovered 14,000 light years away. It resembles Earth more than any planet in the known universe. Because of this, it's more commonly known as Earth 2. Earth 2 is 60% larger than our planet and has about 5 times more mass. It's nearly the same distance from its star as our planet is from its sun. Even its year is almost identical to Earth. 1 year on Earth 2 is 384 Earth days. Although astronomers are unsure what Earth's 2 atmosphere is like, it seems very likely that it would harbor liquid water, which means that it would most certainly have life. Earth 2 star is 1.5 billion years older than the sun. The gravity on Earth 2 is twice as strong as ours, so you would weigh double what you weigh on Earth. Although the possibility of us going to Earth 2 sounds like the greatest scientific possibility in history, with current technology it would take at least 28 million years to get there. We don't live that long. The smallest exoplanet found is Kepler 37b. It's smaller than any planet in our solar system. It's slightly bigger than the Moon, which in itself is about the same size as Australia. Any exoplanet that is larger than Earth is known as a super-Earth. Now, Earth 2 sounds amazing. Sounds cool that there's potentially a planet like Earth, but it's much more exciting than that. There is about 10 billion Earth-like planets just in our own galaxy. In fact, there's already been hundreds of them discovered. Also, there's already been 500 star systems found that resemble the solar system, each one of them having many exoplanets. The most abundant star system ever discovered has 7 planets orbiting its star. Exoplanets have been found around almost every kind of star. Lower mass stars, high mass stars, red dwarfs, red giants, blue stars, and so forth. If you don't know what that terminology means, I can do a video about stars in the nearby future. Kepler 7b is a planet that is 1.5 times larger than Jupiter, but it's as dense as styrofoam. The planet 55 Cancri E has the fastest change of temperature in the cosmos. The planet's temperature changes from 1,000 degrees to 2,700 degrees Celsius in only 18 hours. Because of the sheer volume of exoplanets uncovered in recent years, astronomers have calculated that there are hundreds of billions of planets in just our own galaxy, the Milky Way, which can give you an idea of how many there are throughout the cosmos. And finally, in 2014, almost 800 planets were discovered. Since records started in 1995, between 20 to 100 planets were discovered per year. That means that in 2014, more planets were discovered than in the previous 20 years. Imagine how many we're going to find this year, and the year after, and the year after, and it will get more every single year until we'll be finding thousands. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please let me know if there's any other aspects you want to do about space. Nebula, asteroids, comets, meteors, and so on. To learn more facts, check out my books on Amazon. They're available on paperback and Kindle. Thanks for watching. See you again.